What's up, everybody? Here to talk a little college football week 11. What will Louisville do and how quickly can they get that victory towards ACC Championship secured? We'll talk about college football playoff rankings and just where your favorite teams may lie. Florida State, I'm looking at you.
You are Locked On ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Everybody, welcome to today's edition of Locked On ACC. I'm your host, Candace Cooper, joined by Kenton Gibbs of Locked On Wolfpack. Each and every day, you can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you download, subscribe to the pod from anywhere you listen. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnCollege and use code LockedOnCollege for a first deposit match up to $100. Daily fantasy sports made easy. Kenton Gibbs and I talk you through week 11 each and every week. We have been given the opportunity to compete with our fans in our community pages. And we do he said, she said, fan said. And I can't believe that we're almost to the end. 11 long weeks, but 11 good ones at here. Right now, Kenton is in the lead, but the fans are really close and I'm not too far behind them. So let's get things started, shall we?
Absolutely. Let's do it. In the words of Outkast, I'm feeling good, feeling great. Feeling great, feeling good. How are you, Miss Cooper?
Is that what Outkast said?
Yes, in the song Ghetto Music. Absolutely.
Oh, okay. I missed that. That must be a deep cut.
I mean, yeah, it was on NBA Live and everything. I mean, that was kind of
I'm not a gamer. So
that song charted. I'm pretty sure it charted.
No, it didn't.
Ghetto Music definitely charted. Okay.
You can Google it. You can Google it while I get into the first game.
Let's do it.
All right, kicking us off on Thursday Night Lights, Virginia and Louisville, number 11 Louisville. They'll play at 7:30 on ESPN. It'll be in Kentucky, and Louisville is looking to go ahead and secure their spot in the ACC Championship game. They will not face an ACC opponent after this one, so you might as well just give them the dub. How are you feeling about the Louisville's chances going up against they have to play Miami. Forgive me. But once they play Miami, then we can secure their bag and get them to an ACC championship game.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm looking at this game, not really seeing a path to success for Louisville. With all due respect, even if Virginia has
Louisville, you don't see a path to success?
I don't see a path to success for Virginia. I'm sorry. I don't see a path to success for Virginia. I don't see a world in which they beat Louisville. I mean, the thing is this. I think that this Louisville team, like I've said multiple times, they've set themselves apart from that middle of the pack group, in my opinion. And with that being said, this is a Virginia team that, like, we're literally congratulating them for showing up and trying hard. So I don't think that this is a team that's I don't think they have another big time upset in them.
I don't know. I've seen it before. They've taken down a top 10 program on the road at that. So it's not impossible. Not impossible.
Yeah, I hear you knocking, big dog. I hear you knocking, but I'm not going to let you in. The reality is that top 10 program that they took down, they have holes the size of the Grand Canyon in that program. So, I mean, what are we surprised by here?
That's really wild, but okay. I think Louisville is a great team. I think Tony Muskett would have to have the game of his life, but I've seen it before. I've seen Malachi Fields. I've seen Mr. Malik Washington have great nights, and they're really good at what they do. And that defense does just enough. So it really, to me, boils down to Louisville will have to lose the game more so than Virginia will win. But capitalizing on Louisville's turnovers is not impossible. Plummer?
Let me go ahead and quote the wonderful singer Brandy here. Impossible. It's not happening. Louisville is going to take this game handily.
Well, it was more Whitney Houston singing The Impossible because, like, it was about the fairy godmother song. But, like, if we going to do it, like, you know what I'm talking about?
Well, you were supposed to sing it back to me, but you didn't want to come in. You didn't want to come in.
You know, only Jesus knows your key, okay?
You left me out there in the cold by myself. So, great job.
Should be. Great. I mean, this week has been very musical for you.
Wow.
We've got William Murphy, Marvin Sapp. We've got a little Outkast. We got a little Brandy, a little Whitney Houston.
Also, Ghetto Music did chart. It charted nationally and internationally.
To what? How high?
55.
All
55.
right.
55th most
All
popular
right.
song in America.
All right. Well, will it be most popular for Louisville to get this W? What say you?
Absolutely. I don't think it's going to be popular. I think that's the reality. That is what we are seeing. It's what you're hearing, in the words of DMX. It's what you're hearing, because Louisville is going to dominate this game. The things that Virginia does well, Louisville is best at stopping. Virginia has a wonderful third down speed package that, like, absolutely phenomenal. The problem is, in order to get that package on the field, you have to get Louisville in third and longs. I don't see how they do that. That running game is formidable regardless of who the back is, but Joe R. Jordan is something special. If he's healthy, if he's good and rolling, I don't see a world where this game is even close.
That's fair. I also really appreciate, like, as you mentioned, Louisville's secondary. I think against, some really big wide receivers, it's going to be challenging for Virginia when those 50-50 balls. I sort of just nod right now to the Cardinals. But what do the fans say?
The fans said in overwhelming response here, a majority went with Louisville to win this game, 83% going Louisville.
So I'm not trying to overlook the Miami game, just saying, to me, this is a clear path forward for Louisville to go ahead and secure their spot because of the other implications of how some of these games are going to go for the rest of the week.
Yeah, and there were a lot of people talking about, hey, this team still has a shot mathematically. This team still has a shot mathematically. I said, yes, mathematically. In the real world, Louisville's not losing to Virginia. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm sorry to let all of you down like this. It's not going to happen. And if it does, then trust me, Candace, you have every right to come on this show. Kenton, what happened? Because it's just
not really my stilo, but I'm over here trying to win this week, so I'm not messing around. Let's get to some Saturday action. Virginia Tech and Boston College kicking it off for the ACC at noon on ACC Network. The Hokies travel to Chestnut Hill. I think with Boston College being on such a roll, it sort of feels like a gimme, but I don't know. This Virginia Tech team seems like they don't mind being the underdogs and figure out ways to win.
Yeah, I think that this is a game where, as much as people like to talk down about Boston College, talk bad about all the teams that they beat and they're nobodies, yada, 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 so on and so forth, they still have the second longest winning streak in the conference. That is just not
crazy.
That's a verifiable fact. We're up to 5 games. And here's another fun fact for you. Virginia Tech has not won a single, not a one, road game all year. I don't predict that this will be their first. And with that being said, I think that Boston College takes a very close one here. I think the Chiron Drones and company can do a little something. They can do more than they did last week with that little pitiful 3-point performance. I mean, Jesus Christ, did you bother to show up? But I do believe that Castellanos and company will get this thing done.
I think it really just all about the confidence of Boston College right now, especially with their defense and the way they handle Georgia Tech. I think there's just moments for them as a program where a lot of people wrote them off, said they wouldn't even be bowl eligible, but the Fighting Halfleys have sort of figured it out. And I think they're not, the best team in the world, but they certainly know how to play for each other. And I think that's a major component of it. So are you picking Boston College as well?
Yeah, I'm picking Boston College.
What do the fans pick?
The fans pick Boston College as well. 60% pick Boston College.
All right. Well, there has to be some dissension among the ranks eventually, but we'll talk about it. Georgia Tech and Clemson. Clemson riding that high of that Notre Dame victory, and Georgia Tech, they're feeling good about themselves as well. I think that Georgia Tech is a team that they know how to punch people in the mouth, right? They know how to get into dominating teams, a 45-17 victory over Virginia. They've upset North Carolina. They are riding on a 2-win streak, but they also got beat by teams like Boston College. So the inconsistency, you know what? We really want to let that one go. We're trying to let that one go. All I'm saying is the inconsistency is there, but what consistency swing do we land on this week for you?
The question that I look at and I try to get answered with this Georgia Tech team is, which team is going to show up this week? Mm-hmm. That's really the question. Much like you said, in terms of the consistency, who's going to do what? Because some weeks they can't stop the run to save their lives. The next week they look like the 85 Bears. One week, Haynes King just can't stop throwing the ball to the other team. Next week, we got Tom Brady in his prime out there. Mm-hmm. And with that being said, Georgia Tech always makes for a very, volatile, not really sure, not going to bet on it type of deal for me. But with that being said, I believe that because they are going into Death Valley where, hey, Clemson fans, I wasn't familiar with your game. I'm sorry. I was not familiar with your game. I did not know that Death Valley was still going to be rocking.
Okay.
Even with the results
against a Notre Dame, you crazy, but okay.
And with that being said,
that was a reminder game.
They did, and they reminded me. Hey, I'm not too big of a man to admit when I'm wrong. Okay,
you're reminded.
And with that reminder going off, I have to go with Clemson again at home here. I think they take care of business in a game that I wouldn't say it's a blowout, but I wouldn't say it's either particularly close either. I'd say about a 10 to 14 point game.
I'm wondering if this is Clemson's homecoming or something like that, but just curious in terms of the energy that will be there. It'll be on ABC, and I think, they're riding the tide. They shut guys like Tyler from Spartanburg up, and you see that defense feeling more confident. Should never lack confidence to begin with. It really was the offense that was struggling the most, but I think Clemson's offense against that Georgia Tech defense doesn't really hold a candle for this week. Cade can overcome. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I believe last week against Notre Dame was their homecoming. I could be wrong there, but I believe that was their homecoming.
That's what made it so hype.
Yeah. Hey.
So you didn't want to play. You didn't want to play bad in front of the alum, and I get it. Listen, I get it.
Again, I was not familiar with their game. Got to get.
What did the fans say?
The fans have overwhelmingly picked Clemson. 65% going Clemson.
That ain't overwhelming, but I'll let you have it.
That's 2-1.
We spent a lot of time talking together. You and I would get fired up together on wins and losses, who starts and who sits. I'm thankful for that connection we have. And today I want our chat to be a little more personal. I just learned that you can get a 1-year supply on ED medications. You realize what that means? Bring on extended travel, bring on next natural disaster or supply chain issues. You are covered, my friend. You don't have to worry about whether or not you can refill your generics for Cialis, Viagra, or Revatio prescription. And this is possible because of our friends at Jase Medical. Go online right now at jasemedical.com to receive your 12-month supply on your daily medication. Remember to use promo code LOCKEDON at checkout for a discount as well. A verified customer had this to say about Jase. I am thankful for this service. Supply chain issues caused me to cut pills in half to have it. I ordered most of my daily meds with a year supply. I also ordered antibiotic kit. I feel secure now. Prices are lower than local pharmacies. I highly recommend this for everyone. If you or someone you love would get some peace of mind having a year supply of any daily med, go to jasemedical.com to see if it's offered for you. Remember to use promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off your purchase. In hindsight, that was probably a better read for you and not me. Between Nutrafol and Jase Medical, we're going to let you read those from now on.
Okay. First of all, I don't need either one of those. So let's start there. Happy to be bald.
I'm just saying
for the second count, I'm not going to say what I want to say. On the second count, I'm not going to say what I want to say. I'm going to get a call from David that says, shut it down, brother. Shut the whole show down.
I meant from a target audience standpoint, they're not talking to me. So I'm just saying, they might be talking. You might know a fellow friend. You might know someone in need. I'm just saying. I'm just letting you know.
NC what gives State, you the inclination they talking to me, big dog? What gives you that inclination?
I said talk to friends that you have.
Oh, and you don't got no men friends? You know what? Let's go ahead to NC State.
Please, because I'm trying to move on and you keep staying there.
Let's go ahead.
NC State, Wake Forest, 2 p.m. on CW Network, our favorite network. In Winston-Salem seems to be a trap for the Wolfpack, and they're coming off a big, big week and feeling themselves. Tough go losing your quarterback, but hey, you got to play who's in front of you. This is probably the worst week to lose your quarterback because you have some scary hours in Winston-Salem, but what do I know?
I want another witch hunt in Salem. I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna call it right now because there is some hoodoo working out there against NC State, and I want it investigated. I want Roy Cooper and the Attorney General writing a letter right now to get this formally investigated because I'm sick and tired of it.
I'm pretty sure it's the El Paquete de Lobos that's having the issue. So it might not be the witchcraft.
But with that, I think it is.
All right.
But with that being said, I still have NC State winning this game. You're looking at the worst offense in the league in terms of points per game, most sacked quarterback in the ACC. I want to say third or fourth most sacked in all of the Power Five in terms of sacks allowed by Wake Forest. You're looking at the number one team in terms of sacks in the conference. And NC State, a team that was top 5 at one point in time in the season in sacks this season nationally. And
who's your quarterback?
It's Brendan Armstrong.
Okay, you can win with that. You can win with that.
Please respect my privacy during these trying times.
You can win with that. You can beat a Wake Forest defense with that.
I tried to go a whole episode without doing the signs, but you're making me want to bring one out.
Don't bring out a sign.
You're making me want to bring one out.
Brendan can beat a Wake Forest defense. Now, is it going to be a little more challenging than it may have been for MJ Morris? Absolutely. Is he going to be rushed and he is going to be blitzed all night? Remember the Titan style? He should be.
To paraphrase what Megan Thee Stallion said in her new song Cobra, this Pac fan depressed. Okay.
Well, here's the other thing, right? Wake Forest is known for playing damn near perfect games, minimal turnovers, and making you pay for said turnovers. So if there was ever a time that Brendan needs to show, like, this is why y'all brought me here, this is his breakout game.
Yeah.
Can he connect? Can he connect with Concepcion the same way that MJ did?
You know, hopefully, Brendan Armstrong channels his inner Mariah Carey and shows that the holiday season is his time to take over. Because all I want for Christmas is a 10-win season from the Pac. That's all I want for Christmas. If I don't get nothing else, I'm all right with that. But very seriously,
is Mitch Griffiths healthy enough to play?
No, that I do not know. Not gonna lie to you and tell you I know the answer there. But I honestly, I don't think that regardless of who the quarterback is, I don't think that helps much because, I mean, you know, these quarterbacks have a hard time standing upright behind that offensive line at Wake Forest.
Brendan and Mitch are going neck and neck in terms of just production. So I just feel like it's going to come down to defenses. And I give NC State the upper hand. I pick in the Pac. You'll see it on the list. Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying it's going to be a more interesting game than it probably should be.
Yeah.
It's closer than maybe you would feel comfortable with.
Oh, it's not going to be comfortable at all. I think the Pac pull off a one possession win to kind of get the monkey off their back here because this monkey at this point in time has grown into King Kong. This ain't just Curious George no more on their back. So
you go with NC State.
Yeah, 9-6, a very ugly, low scoring game.
You know what? You know I love a little spice. Wait for us. Come talk to me. Winston-Salem, let's make some things shake. Why not? Mm-hmm. I'm going Wake Forest. Mm-hmm. I'm going Demon Deacons, alma mater, all that. Who the fans pick?
Oh, okay. That's real interesting that we got you claiming them as your alma mater now. It's real interesting. The fans, again, a whopping 82% took NC State. So,
man, here we go. Love it.
Yeah.
Can't renege. Yeah. Miami, Florida State. Don't have to stay here long. You used to be able to throw the record books out. It's going to be a closer game than it has been in the past.
Is it?
Well, with the lack of you're not at full strength for Florida State. So I think there's opportunities where that you could see, like you wouldn't necessarily see that with, but like you had a Johnny Wilson, right? Like I think there's more opportunities for Miami in that secondary.
I look at Miami and I think one phrase comes to mind constantly. I don't believe you. You need more people. Okay. I do not believe in this Miami team whatsoever. Florida State is down some studs. Absolutely. They've got enough ballers to handle this game. I don't care if it's a rivalry game. I don't care if there's, Miami's going to be playing for pride and playing for this and playing for that. Let me tell you something. Last year when Miami was allegedly playing for pride, how did they finish out the season?
They're going bowling. That's good. But wouldn't you love nothing more than to spoil your rivals' college football playoff chances?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They'd love to. And I'd also love to actually have a real date with Megan Thee Stallion. But we can't always get what you want. That just ain't how it works.
I was going to crack a Nutrafol joke, but I decided to save it. All right. So I say Florida State. You say Florida State. What did the fans say?
The fans have also said Florida State. And the fans have also said, stop talking about Nutrafol because your co-host is bald and happy. 74% went with Florida State.
Love that for us. With basketball season here, you can now pick combo projections across football and basketball from Specials League, a league created specifically for combo projections with our friends at PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. They are the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you can pick more than or less than 2 to 6 player stat projections and watching the winnings roll in. Want to play alongside some of PrizePicks' favorite players like rapper Meek Mill and comedian Andrew Schultz? You can now find community plays under the promos tab of the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in the PrizePicks community each week. Go to prizepicks.com/lockedoncollege. Use code lockedoncollege for a first deposit match up to $100. Kenton, are you going to play Meek Mill? He got a new album dropping with Rick Ross. He's just riding the tide. He's cashing in.
I'm gonna be completely honest. Not really a huge Meek Mill guy.
What?
Yeah, I used to like
Dreams
his
and
music.
Nightmares don't do it for you?
I mean, it's cool. I know the words to it because who doesn't know the words to Dreams and Nightmares? But not really a big Meek Mill guy. Please don't assume I'm a Drake guy either. Don't like him either. I actively avoid Drake.
Wow.
I just don't see.
How did you get there? How did we get?
Most people, if they hear you say you're not a Meek Mill guy, they're like, "Oh, you must love Drake, and that's why you stopped listening." No, I don't think the quality of his music is there anymore.
That came from a hurt place, but I'm gonna let you have it. All right, Pitt and Syracuse.
Mm-hmm. So, Pitt and Syracuse, very interesting game in my book because you have two teams that are absolutely going through it, right? Two teams that are just like fighting, scraping, clawing for any semblance of decency, any semblance of, hey, we're a real football team this year. Mm-hmm. And when I look at these teams, I'm saying to myself, okay, somebody has to win this football game. Like, that's just the reality. Somebody,
by definition, yes.
Somebody has to win this football game. And so when I'm looking at what we have here, I say to myself, who's in a better position to do so? Because, obviously Villieu has had his problems and you don't know if Schrader's going to be back or not and all that good stuff with Syracuse. Everybody and their mama who's got on an orange jersey is hurt this year. Mm-hmm. But I look at the coaching situations, and that's what separates this game for me. I'm looking at a team with Pitt in terms of their coach is going to be trying things, but he's not going to be coaching for his life. He's going to be coaching to see like, hey, are y'all doing things the right way? Are you doing things that matter? Are you, doing what needs to be done in order to show improvement? As opposed to Syracuse, who's like, I will throw every trick play in the book at you to get to 6 wins. It is very doable for Syracuse to get to 6 wins and get themselves into a bowl game with having Georgia Tech and Wake Forest still on the schedule after this. But they've got to win a game. They've got to stop the bleeding at some point in time. If Schrader plays, I think that they do stop the bleeding here. And they get a win against a 2-7 Pitt team.
See, when you started talking about coaches, I just knew you were going to pick Pitt. I just knew it. I just think that there won't be the same level of desperation from Narduzzi because he knows like they're not going to fire him. They're not, he got Pitt their first conference title in how long? They're not going to pop out the face and be, oh, he's got to go because he had poor quarterback play this year. Not going to work. But I mean, at this point, I don't even think Dino's playing for his resume. He's not playing for his job.
That's fair. But and hear me out. Can you fire? Let's say, because let's just be honest, Pitt, Wake Forest, and who else do they have at the end of this season here? Let me look. Pitt, Georgia Tech, and Wake Forest, all 3 winnable games. Mm-hmm. Do you fire Dino if he wins out? If he wins 3 to 4 straight, right? This team ends up winning 7 or 8 games. Do you fire Dino at that point?
I'm Team Dino, so no. But
I'm saying as a Syracuse, if you're Syracuse football, it's really hard to swing, hey, we're going to fire a coach after 7 losses.
But you have to think about who Dino is.
7 wins.
And you also have to think about the fact that sometimes mediocrity is not cutting it in the world of college sports.
And I understand that, but mediocrity,
And
it's all,
we can gauge mediocrity because I think going bowling in 7 wins is great. However, others, they're ready. They want people to take the team to the next level, kind of like your boy from the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, to me, it's about comparison levels, right? Like, for example, to go back to the Detroit Lions, when they fired Jim Caldwell, I was very upset about that. Super upset. People say, Ken, why are you so angry about this? Because, and some people say, well, he never won a playoff game. He didn't do all this, didn't do all that. And I'm like, if you're judging him by the standard of, hey, he needs to be one of the best coaches in the league, then who among the Lions coaches deserve to have a job? And the coach that they hired after him was immensely worse. Immensely worse. Matt Patricia was one of the worst coaches I've ever seen. I mean, I've never seen a guy run away talent, talk about Darius Slay in the league. 3-4 years later, we're not going to go there. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop that tangent. Mm-hmm. But the reality is very simple. Mm-hmm. I think that Dino is coaching for his job still. And I think that level of desperation will show itself. The question for me is Schrader playing? If Schrader plays, I've got Syracuse. I think they come away with a really close one. If he's not, give me Pitt.
You got to pick. So which one?
Wow.
You say all that to say you have to pick one. You can't do pick.
Well, give me Q's. Give me the orange. Give me the orange.
I say orange as well. What did the fans say?
The fans, surprisingly enough, went Pitt. 65% pick Pitt.
Okay, fans. They might know a little something.
They might
know a little something. Okay. Let's get to the last one here. Rivalry week, Miami, Florida State, but also you have Duke and North Carolina. A really important game for both programs. While they are both going bowling, my quest for 10 wins for Duke is hanging in the rafters. It's looking kind of grim. My quest for North Carolina to still be in the ACC Championship conversation. Still there, but it will be challenging and almost impossible for them to get there if Louisville secures a win and they lose this one. You can make all the faces you want, but it's still mathematically a chance. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, say all that to say, right?
Yeah.
I'm team. Man, I don't know. This is a toss-up.
Well, let me say this.
Because I'm torn.
Let me say this, okay? You're torn about this, and so are the fans. This is our closest fan vote in the history of this show. Closest fan vote ever. There were 87 votes. The votes are divided as such. 44 votes to 43 votes. Candace, who do you think the fans picked to win this game?
Duke.
Yes. Yeah.
Because they've learned you better stop believing in freaking North Carolina, even if it's at home.
Well, here's my thing, okay? I think both of these are basketball schools that are very much so ready for basketball season, despite success from their programs, which is kind of insane to me. But with that being said, you talk about who you believe in and who you don't. I hate this song with everything in my heart and soul, but when you got Drake May on your team, when you got Tez Walker on your team, don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. I got the Hills winning a very close one in this rivalry that's going to send Mac Brown off in a good way.
Now, is it because Riley Leonard isn't playing?
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Well, I'm going to be at the game, and I'm never going to go against the home team for many reasons. But I am sad because now I have to pay you money, and that pisses me off. So, what did the fans say? Duke. Sorry, Duke. I need to write that down.
The fans took Duke, 44 votes to 43 votes. And trust me, I have been updating this voting real time during the show. And 3 votes came in, and they were split. And this is the crazy part about this thing. They were split. 2 votes Duke, 1 vote UNC.
So this really is a make or break week for me and the fans, right? You and I are pretty much neck and neck for how we want to pick things besides the Wake Forest game. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to this week, it's going to be challenging because I feel like Pitt is just a wild choice for the fans, but Duke could be right on target.
I think the most interesting thing about that Pitt game is I do think that Pitt is the better team, but I just don't think they'll have the level of desperation. I just don't think that they'll have the level of we need to be fighting and battling. I think that they're like, hey, is this season over yet, man? let's go home. We done had enough. I'm through. As opposed to Syracuse, who's like,
is this, dare I say, have some pride about you game?
Yeah, absolutely. Syracuse
wonderful.
absolutely
Finally, you let me use that term after I tried to use it for all week, but it's fine. Totally fine.
All right. Well,
I wonder. It's wonderful for me. Either way, it goes. These are our picks. This is what we locked in. Feeling good, feeling great about it. We'll see how we come out on the Friday side, or excuse me, on the week. What is it? Monday? There you go.
Yeah, Monday.
But tomorrow,
very pretty. Very pretty.
You know, gorgeous. We got to talk about basketball tomorrow. Set you up for some good things, you know, women's side, men's side, all that good stuff. We'll set you up for some good PrizePicks options. So make sure you come back tomorrow as we lock you in for what will be a very exciting college basketball conversation. We know that's, sometimes where the money lies for our ACC fans. Last thoughts, Kenton Gibbs. You feeling good about your picks?
I'm feeling great about them. I'm lying. I feel very unconfident about these picks. This is the least confident I've felt in a week of picks in quite some time. But with that being said, I wasn't particularly confident the week I went undefeated, and that things just kind of popped out that way. So hopefully I got another one in me.
Humble brag.
Hopefully I got one more in me.
For Candace Cooper and Kenton Gibbs. Until next time.